Hi, I'm Andrew Whiteley, Director of Finance and Operations for Royal St. George's College. Welcome to our chapel. What makes Royal St. George's College a unique private educational experience in large part is centered around this very building, the Royal St. George's College Chapel. It has a tremendously interesting history, and all of our boys are in here at least twice a week, and it's a big part of the fabric of the school. As I said, the school has a very interesting history. It goes back over 100 years. This building was at once intended to be the Cathedral of Toronto, and only the first part of the cathedral was actually built, and the foundations going all the way back to Albany Avenue were abandoned when the cathedral was built at St. James. And this existed as a church, an Anglican church in the city of Toronto for over 100 years before the school actually acquired the property in 1995. And in the year 2000, we completed our payments to the Anglican Diocese of Toronto and took over the glorious chapel and put a lot of money into refurbishing it and making it our home. What happened on September 18th actually should never have happened, because by Labor Day that year, we were supposed to have been finished our restoration program of the chapel. And that program involved, following on from previous phases, doing some electrical work in the ceiling, completely rewiring the building, which probably hadn't been rewired for 100 years. And while we had the scaffold, we thought it made so much sense to paint the walls and to clean the beautiful ceiling. And we understand that when they were cleaning the ceiling with a linseed oil product, they left the rags, and the rags spontaneously combusted and caused the fire. And within minutes, the local fire department, who has a station literally 1 kilometer from here, were here within 3 to 4 minutes and had the fire completely extinguished. But despite their swift response to the fire, there still was very significant smoke and water damage, and a portion of the floor was actually burned through to the ceiling of the room below. STRONE's response was really quite valuable to the school. They very quickly understood the complexity of the job that was before them. They understood how important this facility was to the successful operation of the school, and they also understood the complexity of the fact that heritage was involved, that our primary concern was the health and safety of our children. And they educated us very, very quickly in terms of coming to grips with the loss, and immediately had a program in place to remediate that loss and a schedule whereby we could count on having this fabulous facility returned to us in time for our Easter service, which was very, very important to us.
The main ridge beam of the ceiling peaked 60 feet above the chapel floor. Precision engineered scaffolding was erected to facilitate detailed cleaning and restoration of all affected surfaces. An elaborate air exchange system was installed along with blast-proof lighting to ensure a safe and controlled work environment. Extra care was used to protect the ornate windows, as well as the chapel pipe organ and other components that required on-site restoration. The wood ceiling, ornamental moldings, and double hammer roof beam components were all painstakingly refinished, requiring heritage approval.
It's also important to note that while ever STRONE was exploring these creative solutions to our restoration program, that they were also very cognizant of the fact that our bottom line from a timing standpoint was that we absolutely had to be in here by Easter, and they delivered on that beautifully. And at the same time as all that was going on, they were still very much accountable to our insurance company, who obviously was writing the check for all of this. So I think they did a good job of balancing all of those various priorities from all those various different interest groups.
Offering some of the best examples of heraldic stained glass in the country, the chapel windows were gently cleaned with distilled water, then hand-painted to replicate their original shadowing. Once the floors were refinished, the furnishings were moved back in pristine condition, some having been fully reconstructed and restored, while others hand-cleaned and deodorized. Having been meticulously inventoried and mapped, the restored pews were reinstalled in their original locations. Working closely with all key stakeholders, the required deadline was achieved, Easter service 2011.